Hey guys, Joel's back with another reasoning sesh where I challenge the status quo of the wisdom of the world and the church by diving deep into the ancient scriptures, uncovering meanings glossed over by translations, really tapping into the core of what the metaphysical aspects of these ancient texts are, and applying it practically to situations in our present day so that we can manifest Earth 2.0. And today I'm talking about being vigilant against the attacks of the enemy while at the same time building this new Earth reality.
Come now and let us reason together. Come now, we can talk it over.
But if you like these videos, give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and let's move forward as an army to be reckoned with, manifesting our destiny and who we've come here to be. We don't deserve anything less than that, and quite frankly, the Kingdom of Darkness knows this and is doing everything they can to inhibit and stop our progress from entering into this Kingdom of Heaven and really downloading this potential into society itself. But that's not going to stop us because we are determined with a determination that actually transcends any kind of physical limitations. We're not ruled by our circumstances. We're ruled by that power that lives in here. And from that state, we actually have the resolve to counter any attack of the enemy. And that actually segues right into today's passage because I was reading the book of Neḥemyah. Actually, I read the whole book on the 31st. And that's a pretty tough read because of all the names and all the families. But even that has such a profound meaning. And all these names, when you translate them into English, man, there's a message in there that's beyond what churchianity has ever disclosed to its congregations. But that's a whole other issue, maybe for another reasoning sesh. I really don't have time to get into because it's so exhaustive. But today I want to talk about what really went on as this book was being written and what the people had to endure because they were rebuilding the walls of Jerusalem, which was destroyed by Nebuchadnezzar when he exiled all the people into Babylon. But when the people returned with Ezra and Neḥemyah, they came back to a bunch of resistance. And when they started laying the gates of the city, the satraps that were there in charge from the previous time were really ticked off. Let's just read from the 4th chapter here. But it came to pass that when Sanballat heard that we builded the wall, he was wroth, and took great indignation, and mocked the Jews. And he spake before his brethren and the army of Samaria, and said, What do these feeble Jews? Will they fortify themselves? Will they sacrifice? Will they make an end in a day? Will they revive the stones out of the heaps of the rubbish which are burned? Now Tobiah the Ammonite was by him, and he said, Even that which they build, if a fox go up, he shall even break down their stone wall. So they mocked them as they built this wall. But it says that this didn't stop them, and actually because they came with that authority of really source, nothing could stop them, and their work was being completed. It says that they built the wall, and all the wall was joined together unto the half thereof, for the people had a mind to work. This is what happens when you really come at it from the causal realms. Everything fits together, and no matter who's involved in the team, they all have that same kind of drive, that same kind of force pushing them forward as we are in our current circumstances manifesting the kingdom of heaven. But it came to pass that when Sanballat and Tobiah and the Arabians and the Ammonites and the Ashdodites heard that the walls of Jerusalem were made up and that the breaches began to be stopped, then they were very wroth, and conspired all of them together to come and to fight against Jerusalem and to hinder it. Now this goes through the phases of denial. First you mock the truth, and then you oppose it violently, and then when the truth stands on its own, you have no choice but to accept it as fact. But they came against this building of the walls because they saw that these people had come back in that authority, and nothing was going to stop the accomplishment of this restructuring, this rebuilding of the holy city. But Neḥemyah said that, Nevertheless, we made our prayer unto our God and set a watch against them day and night because of them. And this is very telling as to what we're dealing with in our present time. We're not going to be ruled by the physical circumstances, but at the same time, we have to be prepared to face up to them. And as we're building this new earth reality, we have to be equipped to fend off the evil that's coming against us to stop that new earth reality. As it says further on in the chapter, they which builded on the wall and they which bear burdens with those that laid it, everyone with one of his hands wrought in the work and with the other hand held a weapon. So you got a hammer in one hand building this new reality, but you also got that sword in the other fighting off the kingdom of darkness. For the builders, everyone had his sword girded by his side, and so builded, and he that sounded the trumpet was by me. So because this work was so great and large, They were separated upon the wall, one far from another. So we're each doing our own individual parts of manifesting this new reality. We're all doing our own little separate pieces, but they're all still pieces of the puzzle. And when that all comes together, we're going to see that we built this wall. In what place, therefore, you hear the sound of the trumpet, resort you thither to us, or come and meet us there, because our God shall fight for us. But that trumpet was the sound to assembly, but literally also a call of victory. That's the sound that actually brought the walls of Jericho down. But in the book of Bamidbar, or Numbers in English, where Yahweh has given Moses instructions, he actually says to make 2 special trumpets. And he says that if you go to war in your land against the enemy that oppresses you, then you shall blow an alarm with the trumpets, and you shall be remembered before Yahweh your God, and you shall be saved from your enemies. And the power of this trump also ties so syncretically with the story of Gideon and when he defeated the Midianites, I call them the Midianites, who had his own army carry things with both hands into battle. This story is in the book of Shoftim, or Judges, and Gideon divided his army into 3 companies, and they blew the trumpets and brake the pitchers, and they held the lamps in their left hands and the trumpets in their right hands to blow withal, and they cried, the sword of Yahweh and of Gideon. And when the enemy saw this, they literally turned against each other, and the ones that were left were chased off into the wilderness, and the 2 princes that were ruling the enemies were both captured and put to death. So we can't be complacent, and we can't be half in. We got to have both hands prepared. And we got to know that the kingdom of darkness is going to come against us. But in resisting the kingdom of darkness, we will actually be able to stand and build this new earth reality, actually be able to accomplish the impossible, and literally live out our destinies, which we've come here to experience. Our purpose is nothing less than that. And it's only by fear and propaganda that we concede to that kind of mentality, and then we manifest that less than enough lifestyle for ourselves and then ultimately society. But we owe society a great service, and we're here bringing that to pass. So tap in and actually know that you have the power, you have the ability, and you have the wherewithal to actually bring to pass your individual piece of this puzzle. And as we all do that, we will literally find ourselves standing, living in the kingdom of heaven. So I love you guys. I'll check you in another reasoning sesh. Really, I got a huge download that night of the 31st when I just spent it all in the spiritual warfare. And I literally got 3 weeks worth of reasoning sessions that I'm going to be sharing with you guys. So stay tuned. We're accelerating. We already crossed this threshold. The writing's on the wall. The days are numbered for the kingdom of darkness. And just watch what unfolds even before the end of the year, man. So with that being said, I'll check you later. Joel signing out once again. Agape. Salam. Namaste. Shalom. Today, I just want to talk about what they were facing. Today, I just want to talk about what really went on in this book and what really went on. But today, I want to talk about what really went on as this book was being written.